For more on that, we're joined by Dr. Bharat Pankhania. I'm very sorry. Bharat Pankhania. He's a senior clinical lecturer at the University of Exeter. Dr. Pankhania, thank you very much for joining us today. First and foremost, I want to ask you about the type of vaccine that we're talking about. It is different, totally different than the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines that we've been talking about in the last few weeks. Please, can you give us some details? What makes it different, and why can this one be actually transported at higher temperatures?
So what we do is, in the AstraZeneca-Oxford vaccine, we use a chimpanzee adenovirus, in other words, a common cold virus of the chimpanzees, to carry the message inside the human cell to make the spike protein against the coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, and then make the immunity thereafter. So whilst the Pfizer vaccine uses nanoparticles to enter the cell, and then the RNA makes the spike protein, in this case, we use a virus that doesn't replicate, doesn't duplicate. It just carries it into the cell, and then once it's entered the cell, the ribosomes make the spike protein, and that's how it works.
Why did it take longer to develop this vaccine, just a little bit longer than it did the previous two that you just mentioned, the Pfizer one and the Moderna? Is it just because the other ones were already in process of development because of MERS and SARS, etc.? Because it seems like this one uses a much simpler or much more common vaccination method that we know from the cold.
Yes, you're right. The Pfizer-Moderna ones use nanoparticle technology, whereas this one uses a carrier vaccine to take the instructions into the human cell. And to be honest with you, it's not quite a race. Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, Oxford ones, I would say they were all within reason, within a few months of each other, produced the licensed outcome, which is independent bodies have looked at it and said, yes, this is safe to give to otherwise fit and healthy people.
How quickly do you think they're going to be distributed in the UK?
As soon as possible. So from next week onwards, the process of immunizing large number of people will start. We will get the details from the vaccines committees as to which groups to immunize first. But I would say the elderly, the vulnerable, and frontline healthcare workers should be top priority, followed by other people in quick succession. But the secret, the way to get this to work properly is to immunize as many as possible, as fast as possible.
I can imagine, Doctor, that a lot of people are going to be having preferences, whether it's for this sort of vaccine or the other, especially when it comes to, this new type that is very different to the Pfizer and Moderna ones. What do you say to people who are deliberating if they should get this new one that seems to be cheaper? A lot of times, cheaper things are associated for people with being of not as good quality, etc., etc.
Oh, please, I would say vaccines save lives. And if they have been regulated and licensed by independent authorities, like in the UK, the MHRA and FDA in the United States, and similar in other parts of the world, please don't go shopping for which one is better. They all do the job. Take the one that is readily available and take it as soon as it's offered.
Okay, Dr. Bharat Pankhania, senior clinical lecturer at the University of Exeter. I'm having a lot of problems today with your name and your title. I apologize for that. It's excitement from the new vaccine that is on the shelf right now. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Welcome.